So, you thought you'd stumble across some sappy piano-backed video with cookie-cutter dating advice from a wannabe love guru, promising you the keys to winning over that Instagram goddess who doesn't even know you exist. Cute. But nah, bro, this ain't that. No red roses, no cheesy one-liners here. This is raw, gritty, and a straight-up slap in the face. Truth doesn't come gift-wrapped, it hits like a freight train. And if you're one of those guys begging for just one chance while she wipes her feet on your heart like it's a doormat, congrats, you're the poster boy for the friend zone. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't for the dudes crying to heartbreak ballads, posting novels about how they did everything for her. This is for the guys who are done playing lapdog, wagging their tail for a scrap of affection. Spoiler alert, you don't get it. You just get stepped on. Want a reality check? There is a code. A cold, ruthless, bulletproof code. And it's not about winning her heart. It's about shutting down her games before they even start. When you turn into stone, she can't climb your emotional mountain to plant her ego's flag at the summit. This code doesn't teach you to be sweeter, more helpful, or more head over heels. It teaches you to be untouchable. An emotional black hole that swallows every attempt at control, manipulation, or drama. She could be the human embodiment of temptation itself. And she'd still crash into your silence like a pigeon smacking into a glass window. You've been conditioned to think you need to please her, chase her, prove you're the one. But every time you do, she doesn't see a man. She sees a rug. And rugs, my friend, are only good for wiping dirt off her shoes, not for earning respect. The nice guy who tries to stand out by being different? He's just like every other guy trying to stand out. Same costume, same desperation. The face of a lovesick puppy dreaming of affection and waking up to a cold shoulder. That's why the Stoic Code exists. Not to turn you into some soap opera heartthrob, but into a puzzle she can't solve. A silence that screams. A detachment that burns. A man who doesn't need her approval because he's already approved himself. A man who doesn't live for her validation because he's already living in his own presence. And before you get any ideas about using this to play I'll make her pay, let me stop you right there. This isn't a revenge plot. It's a survival manual. Once you get it, there's no ungetting it. You stop falling for emotional traps like you stop touching a live wire once you know it'll shock you. Real quick, let's do the help the algorithm thing. This ain't a charity for your self-esteem. If this video's got you shook, do your part. Like, subscribe, and drop a respect in the comments to show you're picking up what I'm putting down. The more guys ditch the circus, the fewer clowns are left in the ring. Alright, the crybabies have probably clicked away by now. Let's talk to the ones who stayed, because this is where the real slaughter begins. Number 1, the nice guy myth. Oh, the nice guy. The unsung hero of fairy tales nobody bothered to read. The forever stuck in the friend zone collectible nobody wants. He thinks being kind, helpful, and predictable is the golden ticket to irresistible. Newsflash, it's not. It's the shortcut to yawn. She looks at him with the same thrill as watching a YouTube tutorial on how to fix a dishwasher. Useful, but zero spark. This is the guy texting "Good morning, sunshine" before her coffee's even cold, offering rides, advice, a shoulder to cry on, thinking he's building love. Nah, champ, you're building a front row seat to watch her fall for someone else. Society trained you well, didn't it? Sold you the lie that being polite, understanding, and submissive was the way to go. Congrats. You're now a certified doormat with a PhD in people-pleasing. The nice guy who's just nice. And guess what happens to the nice guy? He gets tossed in the maybe someday drawer, right next to her expired gift cards and her ex's wedding invite. Here's the kicker. The nice guy thinks he's got the moral high ground. He glares at the bad boy and mutters, "One day she'll see I'm the one." Buddy, she saw. And she kept walking, because her attraction doesn't come from your plastic kindness. It comes from mystery, risk, the lack of control. And the nice guy? He's got none of that. He's an open book of self-help cliches. While you're out here begging for attention with heart emojis, the guy who hasn't replied to her stories in 2 days is already living rent-free in her head without even trying. When did you lose the game? The second you thought being different meant offering what every other desperate dude offers: attention, validation, and zero mystery. You became predictable. And predictable, my friend, is disposable. Want to start cracking the Stoic Code? Accept this. Your kindness was never charm, it was a leash. Number 2, silence. The loudest scream she'll hear. Oh, silence. The ghost that haunts the ego of anyone who thrives on applause. While you're racing to reply in 2 seconds, thinking you're showing interest, she's already filed you under background noise in her personal reality show. Guess what she feels? Nada. Because you've become nothing. Now picture the man who stays quiet, who doesn't chase, who doesn't explain himself. The man who doesn't treat every text like an offering to her ego's altar. That guy flips the script. He tears up her playbook and forces the drama queen to improvise. Result? She loses it, because nothing throws her off more than not knowing. While the nice guy sends paragraphs, the silent man plants doubt. And doubt, my friend, is poison to someone who needs to feel in control. When you go quiet, she starts seeing monsters in the gaps where there's only a pause. The best part, you don't have to say a word. Your silence says, I don't need you. And for someone used to men groveling at her feet, that's a gut punch to her pride. The girl posting, I'm thriving quotes after you ghost her. That's just emotional makeup covering the insecurity you just triggered. She's smiling in selfies but crying in her algorithm. Because while she's trying to prove she's fine, her mind's working overtime to solve the puzzle you didn't even bother to lay out. Here's the brutal secret. Silence doesn't start fights. It starts paranoia. You don't argue. You let her argue with herself. And when that happens, you've won without stepping into the ring. Every second you stay quiet is a reminder you're not on clearance. And a woman who can't predict you, can't control you. And if she can't control you, she's out of moves. Game over. Number 3, coldness, the ice that burns her ego. If silence is the first slap, coldness is the dry ice you drop on her heart. She won't admit it, of course. She'll play it cool, say you've changed, act like she doesn't care. But inside, she's spiraling, trying to figure out when she lost her grip on the game she always won with a smile and a flick of her charm. Coldness doesn't need to make a scene. It doesn't yell, doesn't flinch, doesn't put on a show. It just is. It's in the eyes that don't sparkle anymore, the replies that carry no warmth, the presence that doesn't bend, doesn't break, doesn't explain. And that's where the magic happens. She feels it, feels the stage is empty. The audience of your affection is gone. The applause she expected, it's just an echo now. The cold man doesn't argue, doesn't beg, doesn't clap back. He just exists. An emotional phantom hovering over her ego, refusing to give her the satisfaction of influence. He listens without caring, responds without committing, exists without kneeling. And what does that spark? Panic. Because a woman who feeds on emotional reactions can't handle the void. The whatever, the absence of the reactions that used to fuel her ego like junk food. Think she'll take it lying down? Nope. She'll laugh, mock, call you a robot. She'll poke and prod to see if you'll crack. But that's just her scrambling to reclaim the toy she can't play with anymore. Real coldness isn't an act. It's born from humiliation, from giving everything and getting nothing. From realizing the nice guy was never admired, just used. Coldness is the final version of the man who finally chose himself. And the best part? She knows it's not a phase. It's who you are now. And that kind of identity doesn't crack under pressure. If she wants warmth, she can chase the sun. Because with you, the forecast is Arctic. Number 4, the reunion. The show. She expected, but you didn't show up. Oh, the classic "Hey stranger" text. The emotional VIP pass she thinks she still has. Like time froze just because she decided to waltz back into your life. She ghosts you, treats you like emotional recycling, and when she realizes the wells run dry, she comes back with a rehearsed script, sweet voice, doe eyes, Hollywood smile, all calculated to see if you're still the same fool she left behind. This is where the show begins or ends, if you're a man of the code. This is the moment 90% of guys torch everything they've built. One "hey" with a winking emoji, and they're back to wagging their tail like a puppy seeing its owner. They try to prove they've changed, grown, but they fall right back into the same emotional trap. Desperate to show their worth to someone who never valued it. But the man of the code, he retired his inner clown. He doesn't step back into the circus. Because for her, the reunion's just a test. She wants to know if she still holds the reins. If one smile can still unravel you. If her presence can still flip your world upside down. And when she finds coldness where she expected longing, silence where she expected neediness, neutrality where she expected emotion, she's lost. And that's when the panic sets in. You don't need to yell, don't need to throw her shade. The real punishment is being polite and indifferent. It's looking into the eyes of someone who used to be your everything and seeing nothing. It's listening without excitement, speaking without opening up, being there, but not really, because now she's just another face, and that just another face stings harder than any petty revenge. She came back to prove she still runs the game, but she found out the game's over. And worse, you're not even playing anymore. The ultimate win isn't making her cry. It's making her realize that, even with her best smile, you feel nothing. Number 5, the final bet. The code that kills the drama. This is where the emotional tourists get off the train, and the men reborn from rejection take the wheel. The final stage of the Stoic Code isn't about turning your back. It's about flipping the switch. It's not about walking away to get noticed. It's about stopping feeling. Because if you're still plotting revenge, you're still feeling. And if you're still feeling, you're still losing. Victory doesn't come in the form of a screenshot bragging, "Look who came crawling back." There's no grand comeback, no victory speech, no cheering crowd. There's just you, standing in front of the woman who used to be a hurricane, now reduced to a lukewarm breeze. And all you feel is what you'd feel for a paid-off credit card. Relief. That's it. Nothing more. The mistake most guys make is thinking the code is about impressing her. Wrong, champ. The code is about burying the version of you that groveled for crumbs. The guy who camped out by his phone waiting for a text. Who traded self-respect for a like. Who lost his dignity trying to decode the chaos of someone who never knew what they wanted but loved that you did. The final bet isn't about her, it's about you. Either you become untouchable, or you go back to being her emotional punching bag. There's no middle ground. The code either shields you, or you're back in the crosshairs. She'll feel it, because women know when they've lost control. And that's when the performance starts. Recycled charm, rehearsed nostalgia, beta version sob stories. But you, now colder than a morgue wall, just watch, and feel nothing. Because you finally get it. When you stop reacting, you step out of the game. And when you step out, she loses the only player who ever mattered. The final scene? Her trying to run the old playbook and realizing the star of the show left the stage. The man who was once available, devoted, desperate. He's gone. And in his place is a man who doesn't need to prove anything, doesn't need to be wanted, doesn't need her. That's the Stoic Code. It's not a mask you wear. It's not a lesson you teach. It's a life you live, and no woman can crack it. Because it's not about winning her heart. It's about never losing yours again. Closing, the true endgame. You don't need to be a movie star hunk, a TikTok tycoon, or a gym bro with abs like a billboard ad. You just need to be one thing: uncontrollable. Because the man who can't be manipulated is the one she can't forget. Your silence is your armor, your coldness, your blade. and your lack of need, your invisible crown. The day you stopped caring, stopped replying, stopped waiting. That's the day she lost the only game she thought she owned. She'll remember, oh yeah. She'll remember how you were intense, available, all in. She'll remember how she could steer you with a few sweet words. And she'll hate what you've become. Because now, when she looks at you, she doesn't see a spark. She sees ice. A gaze that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't hurt. And her ego? It'll scream in silence. That's the ultimate power. Not wanting anymore. Not trying to win her back. Not dreaming of a second chance. Just looking at the woman who once ignored you and feeling the most dangerous thing of all, nothing. And that nothing coming from a man who once crawled, cried, begged. That nothing is lethal. It's the emotional gravestone carved in silence. Here lies the weak man she used. And standing tall above it is the new you, cold, steady, untouchable. The Stoic Code doesn't make you the winner of her heart. It makes you the king of your own worth. It's not about getting her back. It's about never going back to the version of you that erased himself for her. The game didn't end because she lost. It ended because you left the table. And what's left? Her, alone, staring into the void. Where a man once knelt. That's the Stoic Code. Once it's activated, there's no going back. And her, she'll have to learn to live with the absence of a man she thought she'd own forever.